Hi, I'm Chris Blackwell with One Innovative Group of Platinum One Properties.
And I'm Dina Salazar, broker Platinum One Properties, and also part of One Innovative Group.
In today's episode, we're going to be covering some of the changes to the listing agreement after the NAR settlement with the case in Missouri. So stay tuned. Thanks again for joining us. And today's topic is more about the listing agreements with the upcoming changes between the NAR settlement and the lawsuit that happened in the state of Missouri.
Listen, guys, I know everyone's worried about this, but we're going to make it as simple as we possibly can because these changes are just not as big of a deal as everyone is making them out to be. We can get through this.
We can. And you're going to see us pull this information up on the screen behind us so that way you can follow along at your own pace. So the biggest thing is that we're no longer talking commissions.
Now it's compensation.
We are professionals. We are getting compensated for doing service. The biggest thing is that on our previous listing agreements with the Texas Association of Realtors 1101 is that compensation was talked about on multiple pages.
Correct.
It was that here's what the commission is going to be, and then several paragraphs later, several pages later, buried a little bit further down, it was talking about how that commission was going to be distributed.
Now on page 2, paragraph 5 of our residential listing agreement, which you can see behind us on the screen, it's blocked out in bold letters and framed out all together so that there's no confusion as to how we have agreed to be compensated.
And I think one of the biggest things that you're going to see is that they're making it very clear to sellers or landlords that all compensation is negotiable. There's no price fixing. That's really the biggest thing. It's fully negotiable. So if you look at section 5A, this is going more into our traditional compensation agreement. This is where the listing agent is getting paid a commission by a seller, and then that listing broker is agreeing that if another broker brings a buyer, that they're splitting their commission.
On 5B of the same, in that same framed area that we're discussing, if a seller is not wanting you to pay an outside brokerage for bringing a buyer, it is spelled out there.
And then the nice thing is that there's a big bolded note on that same page at the bottom that tells the seller that even if they don't agree to, contributing towards the buyer's agent's compensation, that they can offer concessions to that buyer. So that buyer can then use it towards their buyer's agent's compensation. They can use it towards closing costs, anything else that their lender is going to let it be approved for. So the biggest thing is if the seller is willing to offer a compensation, you want to go down to paragraph 11F and state that the seller is allowing you to advertise that concession. And then once that has been agreed to, you're going to go to Texas Form TXR 1412, and you can actually say a dollar amount that the seller is willing to let you advertise.
Not only the dollar amount that they're willing to allow you to advertise, but anything else that is pertinent to the sale. They may be willing to, for example, pay 1 year of homeowners insurance for the buyer.
Cool.
They may be willing to do other things that they want you to market.
Or special language of bring all offers.
Correct. Or negotiable. Seller's negotiable. So any of these items, you know, that any of the language has to be approved by the seller and put into that amendment.
So those are the biggest things that are actually in the listing agreement. Now, one of the things is that, of course, we know that our 1-to-4 family contract, condominium contracts, those are promulgated by the Texas Real Estate Commission, and they're going to have to wait till the next legislative section before we see if any changes are made. As of today, the buyer's agent compensation can still be documented on the second to last page there at the bottom. But one of the things that I would get in the habit of is now there is a compensation agreement between brokers. It was commonly referred to as the ABB, but this is going to be more prevalent now in sales, to where before it was mostly for rentals. But then if you're talking to a listing agent and they say that yes, the seller's offering 3%, you would want to make sure to go ahead and get that document signed as well.
That's right, because remember, the compensation will no longer be listed on the MLS. There's no way to know other than contacting the listing brokerage.
We want to thank you for watching this video today and hope you found it very informative.
And if you have any questions regarding anything that we've gone over, don't hesitate to reach out to our office at 713-526-6233.